Hello, this is the Fifth Star Podcast. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Albert.
And normally we review movies and try to find our 5-star rated movie, but instead we thought it would be fun to review Stranger Things Volume 1 because it is very hype right now.
Yep. I mean, much anticipated. So it's been 3 years since the end of season 4.
Such a long wait.
And you've been waiting the full 3 years because you were watching along as it came out, right?
I have been obsessed with the show since season 1 came out in 2016.
Yeah. And so as you watched volume 1 of season 5, what did you think? Did it live up to, I guess, all that anticipation?
I think yes, in some ways, yes.
Okay.
I think episode 1 was my favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah. I really liked episode 1. It was giving like Ocean 11 vibes for some reason. Like lots of operations were happening. And can I say this? I liked that the party was all together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that that was a big thing that I really wanted from this final season.
Yeah.
Because season 4, like, it's
They're
great.
split up.
Yeah, it's great. There's so many great reveals in that season that are, you know, really important, especially for this season. But yeah, so much of it is like them in all these separate groups.
Yes.
And so the fact that here we're essentially kind of starting with everyone together.
Okay, before we like start spoiling this season,
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what your like how you rate each season.
Oh.
Because you've binged it.
Yeah, so
Just
I'm like
this
the
month.
only person in the world that didn't watch Stranger Things as it was coming out.
Yep.
And that was kind of intentional. So generally with shows, I don't
You
like
wanna wait.
starting shows if I don't know that it's already completed because
Yeah.
I want to binge it and
Yeah.
I kind of lose momentum. So I waited and I'm glad that I did. Okay, it's mixed because in one sense I'm glad I did because I didn't have to wait 3 years for this final season to come out.
I mean, more than that, it's been almost 10 years since season 1 came
since
out.
season 1 came out, yeah. But like, it was nice that I got to see the end of season 4, and then it was like go right into season 5. Because the way season 4 ends is such a massive cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
That I can't imagine having to wait 3 years for this season to come out.
And the writer's strike like set it back.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
So I did like that aspect of it. But I do feel like I wish that I had seen it as it came out because I don't think I'm as emotionally connected to some of the characters as maybe you might be. Like, I don't have nostalgia for these characters because I didn't grow up with them.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. And so that element of it feels a little like I missed out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I saw them as like little kids and then like
suddenly
a few days later they're older and they keep getting older. And I would say in terms of ranking the seasons, I think the clear best season is still season 1 for me.
Yes.
And
so good.
I think second would be probably season 4. But I'm actually a little torn between season 4 and season 2, which apparently people kind of hate on season 2, but I thought season 2 was a really appropriate follow-up to season 1, and them having to deal with the fallout of what happened in season 1 I thought was really appropriate. And again, because I'm just binging it, it felt like it was given its proper due and it wasn't like unnecessarily drawn out.
On a rewatch, I kind of agree. I think when I rewatched season 2, I liked it more than I remembered liking it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when it initially came out,
I think when it initially came out, I was disappointed because it was just a lot slower than the first season.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but I think I would still do season 4 just because of Henry, Vecna, like that whole storyline is so good. They do such a good job of building up Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, we're assuming everyone's already caught up to season 4 at this point. I was glad that they didn't kill off Henry at the end of, or Vecna at the end of season 4.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it would be such a shame after all that buildup and backstory that they've put into him to just like kill him off. And I would say my weakest season is, so it would be 1, 4, 2, then 3 for me.
Yep.
Yeah, 3. I mean, Billy was great. I liked him as a villain, but I just think it was just too cheesy, and there was just too many parts where it was like too silly and goofy.
Yeah.
And especially like Hopper who's like one of my favorite characters. I thought they
He's
just
the
like
worst in
yeah.
season 3.
Like they just made him this like really whiny, like overprotective dad, and his whole trying to break up Eleven um and Mike. I
Yeah.
just didn't like that whole storyline.
And then there's so much cringe adolescent love happening.
Oh yeah, because everyone's in a couple and they're going
yeah,
through drama.
and then there's like a lot of like there's way too many storylines. I know that like in season 4 there's like 3 things going on at the same time, which feels like a lot, but I feel like they just paced it better or split it up better. Whereas season 3, it's like there are at least 5 storylines happening, and it's so confusing. And there's also like multiple bad guys.
Yeah.
Because you've got the Russians, you've got the Mind Flayer, you've got, I guess, Billy working for the Mind Flayer. But anyway, it was a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on.
So season 5, it has all those people still.
Yeah.
But you also now, okay, we're gonna start getting to spoilers, right?
Yep.
So Holly, who was like a background character, now becomes like a prominent character.
Yes.
So it's like on top of all the characters that they're already juggling, they're like adding more.
But at least she's already.
She's
I
been
know she's been
established.
recast, but at least she's already been in the show.
Yeah.
Set up.
Yeah, and so she's familiar, not
Yeah.
a totally new character. But because the rest of the group is mostly together now, it still works. It feels like you're tracking less things like at the same time. Season 5 so far to me still feels like setup, like largely.
Yeah, kind of. Although episode 4 was
episode
crazy.
4, a lot of things happen.
A lot of things.
I think episode 4 really helped like ratchet everything up and makes me really excited for volume 2 to come out.
I agree. Okay, I know that in the past you've not liked Will. How do you feel about Will after episode 4?
Yes, so for the first 4 seasons, I don't know what everyone else had felt about Will, but I felt like he was by far the worst character.
Well, you liked him in season 2, but then he started falling apart.
Yeah,
in season 3.
and a lot of it, I'm sorry to say, it's just like the acting
Yeah.
has just not been good.
Right.
But I've been surprised by season 5. I think these 3 years have been good for him.
Yeah.
I feel like his acting's been a lot better.
It's been better.
It's been improved.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like he's overacting as much.
Mm-hmm.
And his character gets a lot more meat, I think. And
he's
especially
basically the
in
main
volume 4.
character of volume
Yes.
1.
So where he ends up at the end of episode 4 is like, wow.
It's so cool.
Yeah, he has so much to work with now.
Yes.
Do you feel like I mean, first of all, were you surprised when they reveal he has all these powers? And
no,
you weren't?
I've been waiting for this because
Really?
Yes, because like so much of seasons 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of just abandon it in 3.
Okay.
Is Will's tie to the Upside Down,
Yeah.
and how like what was going on that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I thought he was picked for a very specific reason. I had a theory that Vecna was his dad.
Oh,
or like
interesting.
somehow related to him. I don't
Okay.
know. So I thought he was more special. I think they basically revealed that it was random.
Yeah.
But like this whole time, he's had this link, and I wanted that to be more meaningful. I
Yeah.
wanted that to become something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this choice to give him powers similar to Vecna's
Mhm.
is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost like it almost makes me think Vecna's power is more of a disease or something. Like it can spread. And it's gonna spread into these kids.
Yeah. So there's so much that we need to talk about in terms of Henry, what's his ultimate like goal? Why is he picking kids? Why are there 12 of them? Why is he afraid of this cave? Like all of these kinds of things. How does Will get these powers? So we need to talk about all this, and I think so much of this is related to
the play.
The First Shadow, which just reading up on the synopsis and all these things, and like we're gonna unpack that.
Did you decide to watch The First Shadow because of a comment I made, or did you realize after watching episode 3 or 4 that the play was relevant?
I thought that they left some meat on the bone with Papa or Brenner, and
Oh, that's right.
yeah, and how they kill him off. But I thought we were gonna get all of his backstory,
Right.
and they didn't give us that in the show. And then you told me, well, that's what the play is for.
But I
And
didn't know it was canon.
yeah. Well, the question is, how much of it is canon?
It feels like a lot of it is canon.
Okay. Now, I watched so then at the end of volume 1, I was like, okay, I have all these questions.
Yeah,
I wonder if the play gives us any insight.
it does.
So it does. Now I went and watched that, or
the bootleg. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's YouTube.
But you can read the synopsis.
Yep.
Then I watched the documentary, which is on Netflix, about the making of. And in the documentary, they kind of talk about like the writer. She's like the prominent writer alongside the Duffer Brothers. But there's like scenes where, you know, she's writing all this stuff. There's so many rewrites happening as they're putting the play on, or like building towards like the opening day. And then there's like a certain moment where she's having a conversation with like the play director. They say that like because of what they need to reveal in season 5, like we can't say some of these things. Like she says like they
So
can.
she was working alongside the
Yeah.
whole time.
Well, they end up kind of being touch points along the way at certain points. So they kind of see like some of the preliminary story stuff, and then they see like one of the first rehearsals. So they're kind of like touching base along the way. But she's doing all the writing, but there are things that she had to like take out because they didn't okay it.
That tells you a lot.
It does, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's also some differences between the West End play in London and then also the Broadway version. Before we get to the play's explanation, what did you think were some of the reasons for why he might be picking kids, why there's 12 of them, like why he's afraid of the cave? Like
I mean,
that
I
whole
know
piece
why
of
he's
it.
afraid of the cave.
Okay.
Because the play
Okay.
basically gave
But
that away.
I thought before I found out the answer from the play, I thought that it was like something. First, I thought, oh, that's maybe where he got abused by his dad. Because in the show, like the dad, he's like
His
kind of
dad is
an
terrible,
alcoholic or
yeah.
whatever. So I thought that might have been one of the reasons. But then, as I'm watching the first part of the play before they reveal like what happened, it's revealed that like the mom had tried to like do an exorcism on him. And in the show, like Henry is like he has this interesting relationship with his mom because like the dad doesn't understand what's happening in the house, but the mom kind of knows that it's Henry. So she's kind of like a little scared of him a little bit is what's implied in the show.
But she's also still trying to. She's kind of trying to be like a mom to him still.
I guess
It was
so.
like
Yeah.
a weird. It felt really heartbreaking at some points to watch because it's like, okay, clearly she loves her son, but she's terrified of him. And like, what do you do in that situation? Like, what do you do if your kid turns out to be a psychopath?
Yeah.
What do you do?
But there does come a breaking point where she basically tells Brenner, like, I hope you just like keep him in the lab and throw away the key. You know, and I think that's in the play. It reveals
she
that,
hit a breaking point.
Yeah, that Henry, when he hears her say that, you know, through like the void, that's what ultimately leads to his decision to like kill everyone in the family.
Yeah.
What I thought with the cave was that maybe that's where she had taken him to maybe try to exorcise these demons. But what the play ends up revealing is what?
That is where essentially there's like a evil presence inside of the cave as a result of the shipwreck, right?
So no, I don't.
I'm confused.
Yeah. So this is what's confusing because
Isn't
in
it-
the West End play they give more of the details, but in the Broadway version, which is maybe what you saw, because that's what I saw.
There's this evil thing, which
Yeah.
I assume is like the mind flare,
Yes.
and it's in the cave, and he is playing in there, and then he like touches it or something, and it invades him.
Yes. So that is
and it
when
takes over.
Yeah, that is when Henry, when he's around 8 years old,
Yeah.
the play reveals that he comes across and gets infected by the mind flare in the
Right,
caves.
in the caves.
The way that it gets there is that there was a scientist who was working in Brenner's lab who turned out to be a Russian spy. And then he stole some of the particles from
The lab?
the lab. Yeah, that he has in a box. This is in the Broadway, in the London version.
Oh.
And then he brings that box and he's like running away. He ends up coming across Henry in this cave system where I guess he's kind of like supposedly hiding out. But the Russian scientist like ends up dying somehow.
What?
And then so the box is kind of there. And then Henry comes across it. And he's at this point, he's just normal. Like he was a normal boy. And then out of curiosity, he opens up
Right.
this thing. And then
Pandora's box.
yeah, and then he gets him taken for 12 hours into the Upside Down without realizing it. And then when he comes back to, he has forgotten all of this, but Brenner reveals and reminds this to him by showing him the box and showing like a toy that he had played with from his childhood that Henry had like lost track of ever since then. So the way that all of this started was that our world and the Upside Down were totally separate.
Mm-hmm.
There was no like crossover. And then as part of like this government like secret program, they're trying to figure out a way to make like this whole like battleship invisible. And they think that, and this is what Project Rainbow is, I think it's called, right? They think that if you charge something with a lot of electromagnetic power or something field, then it can disappear. And they do that with this ship, which Brenner's dad is like the commander
Captain
of.
of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it does disappear, but it's because it goes into the Upside Down. It gets teleported into the Upside Down. And then in the Upside Down, they see like all these Demogorgons like attack and basically kills everybody
Right.
except for the dad.
Right.
And then when they come back, the dad is now like kind of in a coma or whatever, but he's been infected with the mind flayer. And so the mind flayer
Oh.
gets extracted out of Brenner's dad, but
The blood.
yes.
Yes.
So it is tied to the blood.
Right. Because
But
that's how he makes all the children.
yeah, but the
Ooh.
particles are also, they're able to like pull out the actual particles like in the earlier seasons where you see it like spinning in the beaker and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I also didn't realize. I thought they just got into a bad shipwreck and then like a gate opened. I didn't realize that it teleported into the Upside Down.
Yeah,
I think I just missed that.
yeah,
completely.
it is confusing.
Yeah.
But all of these things are kind of explained in the play later in like the second act.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
Brenner kind of explains it like really quickly. So I had to like
I think I just got confused.
yeah,
when
I
he
had to like
explained
read
it.
into it a little bit.
Okay.
But that's why in the London play, you have the scientist who then takes these particles from that came out of the dad or whatever, and then transports them, like runs away with them, and then Henry's ends up coming across that Pandora's box and gets infected by it, and that's how he gets his like powers, and ultimately leads him to become like
Okay.
Vecna, right?
Yeah, this is starting to sound familiar.
Yeah.
Actually.
Now, then when Brenner finds this box, he realizes, oh, this kid, through the toy, he tracks
Yep.
it to Henry. And this is why he comes to Hawkins looking for Henry.
Yeah.
And then basically through the mom ends up getting him into the lab and then draws his blood and then uses it to
Create the kids.
create the other kids.
Yes.
And he creates 10 kids through these blood transfusions that are successful. And that would supposedly be from number 2 to 11. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, which means that 11 is his sister, blood sister in some way.
Kind of. I definitely thought, because I remember, I think I told you this, but for season 4, the episode titled Papa, I thought they were going to reveal that one was her dad.
Yeah.
Because he's the right age to be her dad, basically. I think that by giving the blood, there is a part of me that kind of wonders why 11 is so special.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, did they actually give the blood to her pregnant mother?
Oh. So, because that was a question I had about, like, how did these kids get these powers?
Because they
from the show?
experimented on the mother.
Yeah. But the implication in the earlier seasons is that, like, she's taking drugs, right? And all this stuff. And it's through that the kid is born with some kind of, like, defect.
So what
as a
if
result of
the
the drugs.
blood was given to the pregnant woman?
Yeah. And so he does a lab experiment, right, where he's asking for pregnant volunteers. And that is, I think, what ends up happening.
Because 11 is different than the other kids.
But
They've singled her out for some reason.
Yeah. So maybe the looking for a pregnant mother was just for 11, and then the other kids were direct blood transfusions.
That's what I think.
Okay.
That's my theory.
So maybe that could make sense.
Yeah.
But this is all really, I think, important context for Will, because he gets taken in season 1. And I thought season 5, episode 1, where they did the flashback of like what ended up happening after he got taken, that we saw in episode 1 or season 1. I thought that was like interesting. Like, did you like what
I
they
liked
did there?
it. I hated the uncanny valley of his CGI face. That was not well done. But I think that is the question that I have had like this entire time. What was Will doing in the Upside Down? Why did he have that thing in his mouth? Why didn't the Demogorgons eat him like they ate Barb? What, like, why? And so I'm so happy that they're finally going through it and explaining all of it. And I think that what he's doing with these other kids is what he did to Will. Like,
and you know, in season or episode 4, he says a quick little comment that I think was super important, which is like why he's taking kids is because they're weak, right?
Their brains are easily broken.
Yes. And when he did that with Will, he realized the power that Vecna had, that Henry had, to be able to control like kids. Whereas adults, supposedly, like their minds are not as open to his influence, and so he just kills them or whatever. But
he's making his 12 disciples.
So the question of why they're 12, I think the 12 disciples could be interesting. I was thinking of like the 12 tribes of Israel, you know.
Oh, really?
Kind of thing.
Okay, I was also thinking there were 11 experiments, so maybe it's like the 12th is the number of completion or something.
Maybe. I mean, one theory I had was, is he trying to, because when he kills all of the kids in the lab, Henry does in season 4, he says like they're not gone, they're in here. Now Max, we get introduced to the fact that like she's in this coma
she's
state,
in
like
there.
She's in his mind, in his memories. So supposedly all these other kids that he's killed off like are in his mind somewhere. So is he trying to create like
a paradise,
10 body or 12 bodies that he can bring those kids' minds to, you know, implant into those bodies?
There is a part of me that thinks that his goals are twofold. One, I think he is just after power. But there is a small part of me that wonders if he's actually trying to protect the kids by putting them in this paradise world that he's creating as Mr. What's-It. Is he trying to just say it's better for them in here than it is out in the real world? Or like it's better that they are protected because I wasn't as a child. Like I was harmed by my parents. And I don't know. That's just like a light theory that like maybe there's a part of him that's trying to protect them, but it's in a really twisted way.
So he says that he's going to recreate the world with them. So I think he's really just trying to destroy the whole world.
He's just trying to use them.
Yeah, and rebuild a world. And I guess in that sense, by him choosing these kids, they won't be killed off because they'll be
his
part
12 disciples.
Yeah, they'll be part of his kind of future. So we'll see if the 12 is more than just symbolic. If it's more specific. I think I like that between the play and then season 5, like we have a lot more understanding of how his power works. It's clearly he influences kids because they're scared and they think that monsters exist, and he taps into that. And you know, throughout season 4 and stuff, like him talking about the Black Widows, he says that like, you know, they immobilize their prey, you know, kind of through fear and all this stuff. It's clear that his power works through fear. Now, I kind of missed this the first time, but when 11 is able to like overcome his power in the lab, it's through a memory of her first experience of love when she's born, right, with the mom.
And Will's whole thing too. His happy memories are what anchor him.
Of his friends. Yeah. And so the whole thing of like love being able to overpower that fear is super important. And that's confirmed in the play, because in the play they're putting on a performance of The Dark of the Moon, and the Joyce character, she's
Directing it.
she's directing it, and she's explaining what the play's about, and she says it's about a witch boy who falls in love with a human girl, and gives up those powers to be with her, leads to the both of them being destroyed. But she says the fundamental central theme in the play is about can the destructive power of fear, and if love can overcome fear.
Yeah.
And so this, I think, is super important throughout like season 5, because like we know that 11 overcame Vecna's power through like her memory of love. Will also is able to like now tap into like the hive mind power and control, but because of the love for his friends, like it overpowers that stuff. But it also, I think, explains why Will is the one who kind of got taken first, because
he was alone.
Yeah, I think like the whole thing throughout the earlier seasons, but especially in season 4, that gets like pretty strongly confirmed, is that he's gay, right? And
I thought he Vecna targets the kids that are dealing with the most loneliness and shame.
Yeah, and it's because of his like sexual orientation, I think.
I don't know if that's totally true for season 1. I don't know if it was that early on that he knew that Will knew that.
I don't know. To me, it seems like what the show is doing is basically being like, he was ostracized by society. He was feeling isolated. And because of that, he was a prime, and he was a child who's like mentally more weak and influenced. That's why Vecna was able to so easily kind of possess him and take over, pulls him into the Upside Down. And then he's kind of like under that influence all this time. And it's not until Robin in season 5 starts to realize, because her also being homosexual, right? Like she also sees that like in him, that's what he's dealing with. She gives him like that little pep talk to be like, yeah, the answers are not outside of you, but it's actually I found them in myself. And it's that realization of him kind of accepting who he really is, that then helps him to like overcome like Vecna's control and power.
Yeah, I think he was, but I don't think that's the only reason he was targeted. I think he was targeted just because he felt more, he was more isolated and more lonely.
Yeah, but so many other kids are too.
Right, and I think that's what season 4 did really well, is it took it's very similar to K-pop Demon Hunters a little bit.
Oh, you're right. With the shame element.
It gives all these characters shame and forces them to live in the shame. And then Vecna, when he like kills Chrissy, he says like, I will free you now. Like you will be free from this. And he seems to have this idea or lie that they're better off dead. And
or in his mind,
he is the solution to their pain. But doesn't realize that like love is actually the solution.
Yeah. And this is another massive thing about the play that apparently when it came out was so shocking for everyone, is that it came out after season 4, where you establish Henry and Vecna as the big bad. And then the play is totally this like it makes Henry a sympathetic character. Or, and you have like all this like empathy for him about like, oh, he was just this boy, and he's really a victim, and he's trying to fight off. Like at one point he like saves the principal because he's like fighting against like the mind flayer. So in terms of guesses for where like we're going to go by the end of the season, I think that they're going to try to redeem Henry.
That's what I was saying earlier. That's why I think like his goal is twofold, because I think he has evil desires, but he has good intentions.
No, like, so I disagree with the good intentions.
I think because Henry is still in there somewhere.
Oh.
Henry is still in there somewhere. He is like wanting to protect these kids. And I think that Mr. Whatsit is a little bit more Henry than Vecna, because he does care about the kids. But then Vecna ultimately takes over in the more violent way, and the violence and the like power and killing and whatnot. But I think Henry is still in there.
Interesting. Okay, so you think that Mr. What's It is like his good
Not
humanity
not
still?
fully, but I
Okay.
think there is more Henry influence maybe
Hmm.
in Mr. What's It. Because why isn't Vecna doing the same approach he had in season 4? Why isn't he doing what he did? Like breaking all their bones. Why is he instead sending demogorgons to capture the kids fully intact, fully like
Well, because he's trying to raise like an army of like, commanders that he can like soldiers he can control, right?
I don't know.
And
That's an interesting theory.
and
I thought it was more so like he was just using their brains, their brain power.
oh,
But
I
I
mean,
mean,
what he did with Will is that he binds him up and then he like puts stuff into his body, right? And I think that's like some combination of like his blood, but also like the mind flare particles
mhm.
that then gave Will his powers, but also like infected him so that he can control Will, right? Taps him in, like brings him into the mind flare's power.
Yeah.
So I think with the same thing with the kids, and then but Will kind of broke away and he escaped, got away. But now with these little kids, like he's going to be able to control them and use them to kind of take over the world. I think that's what I thought. And so
Okay.
I saw
I
the
could see that.
I
Yeah.
saw the Mr. What's It as like purely just evil kind of
Well,
cover and
it's just
facade
like
to draw these kids in.
why put them in this beautiful paradise world where they can play and have fun and
Yeah, I guess so.
like there
Maybe
isn't
that's
he's so much more evil and sinister to me in season 4 than he is in season 5.
I just thought it was all a facade.
I
But
mean, it is a
yeah,
facade. It
but
is.
that is an interesting way to do it.
Plus he cries at the mouth of the cave. Like Henry's still in there.
Yeah. No, you're right. There is some humanity still in there
Mhm.
because I think that what they have to do is, and I think this is where it's kind of going with Eleven and Will and all this kind of stuff is actually I think Max is going to play a big role in this because she's the
She
one that's
is.
gone through all of his memories.
Mhm.
Like she goes at one point to see him in high school, right? And
Mhm.
sees Joyce. That's like directly from the play.
Yeah.
because she's
I
like
got
giving out
excited during that
yeah
scene
because
because I was
she's
like, it's from the play.
yeah, because she's giving out flyers for their
For the
play for the
show.
show, right? And so I think that Max is going to find Henry kind of in his memories and find Patty. I
I'm
think
pretty excited because I agree. I think Patty is gonna
yeah,
be in it, and
because
I really want her to like meet all the parents young and stuff.
yeah, because for you guys who haven't watched the play or don't know about what happens in the play is Patricia is like his big love interest, and when
And it's
Henry's
Bob's adopted sister.
yes, that's right. And when Henry is new to Hawkins, like he's like an outsider, he's a freak, and all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. Patty is the one that like kind of welcomes him in, and they strike up like a relationship,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And she's actually like throughout the play the voice of like kind of the moral center, the moral
Mhm.
compass, and the one
Mhm.
calling him to be like, you can fight, against this like monster, and you're good inside, and all this kind
Yeah,
of stuff. But then
I agree.
she just ends up kind of like going to find her mom, and kind of walks off into the sunset, right?
But she's
So
still alive, maybe.
yeah, she's got to still be alive, well, at least from the end of the play.
So Max has got to go through and find those moments of joy in his life
I think so, and I think
and bring them to the surface.
with Elle's power of being able to like tap into like the void and all that,
Yeah.
I think she might be able to somehow connect, and maybe through Will, be able to find Max in there.
Yeah.
And then they kind of find Henry's humanity, and it has to be through these memories of love that he had with Patty.
Yes.
Like that's got to be how he comes back. I think Vecna's still ultimately going to die. I think he's still going to get killed.
Yeah, Vecna's dead for sure.
Yeah. And I think Henry's going to still die, but it's not going to be until, or maybe as he's dying, that there's this moment of love that he experiences again that kind of brings him out of the control of
It's
the
going to
mind
be like
flayer.
Billy's death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. That's kind of what I'm predicting too.
Yeah.
And I think 11 might die as well.
So I actually don't think 11's going to, I think Will's going to die.
Will could potentially die. Hopper is probably dead.
I think 11's going to, I think Will's going to die again because
Mike could die.
No. So
Maybe.
the
I don't
whole
know.
the whole show started with him falling in love with 11 and their kind of relationship, right? I think it ends with that, but because of Will like having feelings for Mike, like that can never be, right? Like this show's never going to end with Mike and Will getting together.
I don't know.
It's not going to happen. Like there's no way that people are going to like be okay with Mike and 11 not being together, you know? So
After all this time.
yeah, after all, so I think that Will is going to, in some way, be able to like confess his feelings for Mike or whatever,
And then die.
but sacrifice himself, and with his powers, you know, sacrifice himself and kind of
That
be the
could be.
hero because
Yeah.
he's the
He
victim
probably
in
will
the
be the
beginning,
hero.
and he's gonna end up being the hero.
That is a beautiful bookend.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate because I think 11 is the one we've kind of been built up to be the hero, and
well, they team up.
Yeah, and then with 8, like, did you see that coming? What did you feel about that?
My husband Bryce saw it coming. He was like, it's going to be 8. And I thought it was going to be Vecna. I thought it was going to be like Vecna was in their machine.
I knew it couldn't be Vecna because that would just be, that would make him too vulnerable. But I didn't
completely
think it
thought
would be 8.
that 8 was retconned, like erased.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, everyone makes fun of that episode in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone believed that the creators had tried to just make everyone forget that it happened.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not true because 8 showed up.
Yeah.
But I think 8, this is my theory. I think 8 was somehow helping Vecna sleep in a way. Because Vecna's been missing this entire time and only comes out of the gate at the very end when 8 wakes up. And I was like, I think
interesting.
Vecna was somehow
Wait, does she wake
sleeping.
up? Isn't she still?
Yeah, she was waking up.
Oh.
Her eyes opened.
Oh, okay.
I think Vecna was somehow put to sleep in a way. His subconscious was still able to like send out demogorgons, but he physically couldn't leave because of 8. That's my theory.
Okay. I like that. I hope that's true because there's this well, I don't know, because there's this whole thing about they've been spending all this time going on these crawls, trying to find Vecna. Where is he? And I like the whole crawl thing. I like the whole,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, like the tracking between the real world and the upside down, and like with the beacons and the antenna
everybody has their
and all
own
that.
role.
Yeah. So I thought that stuff was really cool. It was really well done. But at the end of season 4, all the whole like rift happens.
Yeah.
I'm like expecting all hell's breaking loose, right?
Yeah.
But then they do this whole like, oh, they've put like metal patches, band-aids over like the whole rift, and like it's been quiet. It's like, what is Vecna doing all this time? Like he had the upper hand.
He's asleep.
Now he was mortally injured, or almost mortally injured, right?
He was very hurt.
Yeah, so maybe he was like recovering, and his body's been built up now, so maybe he was like having to like, regenerate.
It's like he evolved.
Yeah, he's like a Pokemon.
Like a
Pokemon. Yeah. So there could be some explanations for why it's been so quiet, and now the Demogorgons are still wreaking havoc, but I think if 8 was somehow keeping him at bay because she's in the upside down, it would make sense.
Yeah,
that would be a good explanation.
She's like keeping him asleep. But I think if she's not doing that, her purpose could be more sinister, where the military is actually using her for other experimentation, maybe.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure.
But it's got to be against her will, right? You don't think so?
I think she was taken against her will.
Okay.
And that's why they want 11, because they need 2 batteries or something.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, because they obviously don't want 11 dead.
Yeah.
They would have tried to kill her, but...
I mean, it would be interesting if the military had more of an end game. Because like Dr. K, played by Linda Hamilton.
Oh, were you so happy?
Oh, I
Sarah Connor.
I love that they brought Sarah Connor. I mean, you know,
Can she still do chin-ups?
Yeah, like she's, you know, this is a show about the 80s, and, you know, she was in the first Terminator. But in the first Terminator,
and the second Terminator.
Yeah, but in the second Terminator is when she becomes like
she's
the iconic badass, right? But that was in 91 or 92, you know, so it wasn't in the 80s, but she was still in the 80s
iconic.
First Terminator. But I love that they brought her into it. She's like, I thought she gave a really good performance.
Yeah.
But we want to know like what her ultimate plan is, right?
So either they're using them as batteries for some sinister purpose, or they're keeping Vecna asleep. I like both options. I do think keeping Vecna asleep makes more sense though, because why did he show up when he did? It timed out perfectly that as soon as 8 woke up, he woke up.
Yeah.
So
And it's also like a little bit like I don't know. He shows up at the most convenient time, and then takes out all these like soldiers, but
that was
all
gory.
all the kids. Yeah, I love that whole fight sequence. That was great. It was so good when he like pierces through like the face of
I didn't have
the
time to look
soldier.
away.
That was so good. But he kills all these soldiers, but then all these kids are there, and he just like leaves them, like Will, and he just leaves them and then just like walks away.
Well, he sends his Demogorgons to kill them.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's got to be there has to be a good explanation for his end game,
Yeah,
and for why he's
keeping the kids
keeping them alive.
Yeah.
And this is, getting into some of the things that I thought didn't work for me. Again, this show just does not kill people off. Like when the Demogorgon attacks the Wheeler house, and then
I thought they were dead.
yeah, it takes out Ted and the mom.
I was like, they're really going for people, and then they survived.
It's like, come on, like you had the mom have this heroic standoff to like protect.
Dude, that sequence
Holly.
was so well done.
It was really well done, and it's like this gnarly like gash that they show us like a close up of, and then somehow she can survive it, like to the point that like she has the surgery, and then they sneak into a room and then wake her up, and she's like fully conscious to be able to write and stuff. Like,
yeah,
come on,
I
like
agree.
kill them off.
That would have been insane.
Like, I still thought that at the end of season 4, like they should have killed off Max.
Yeah.
And so the fact that like she's in a coma, I was like, oh, come on. Now they have to like go find her and like the Upside Down.
At least she has kind of a purpose though.
Yes.
But
like her with Holly and.
I see what you're saying. I know people are going to die by the end. Like 100%.
Someone has to die, right?
Yeah.
Especially from the original cast. But
yeah.
I think it's going to be Will. I could see maybe I think Hopper and Joyce being together. I could see it
I
being.
think Hopper's going to die.
I could see it being Steve.
No.
Okay, because.
Now it's Steve or Dustin. They are off limits.
Okay, so.
If Steve or Dustin dies, I'm going to riot.
Yeah, so it can't be Dustin. I really hope it's not Dustin because, another thing that I kind of don't love is that Dustin, first of all, is like super different in this season.
But it makes sense.
It does make sense. I understand. And
he's like Max 2.0.
Yeah. But it's because of like the loss of Eddie. And I'm glad that they're not just glossing over that. But like, he's just not fun. Like, he's my favorite character. And, him being kind of like the fun part of like the gang.
He'll get there.
Yeah.
He'll get back
But
to
also
it.
not on top of that, like him and Steve, like their relationship has been so well built up and their bromance. But, now like they're just like at odds with each other.
I like that though.
You do?
I feel like there's not enough character tension this season. And so their tension and then Steve and Jonathan's tension is like basically all there is. I mean, there's a little bit between Joyce and Will, but that's more of like a understanding, loving relationship. But everyone else is on great terms.
I'm glad that Will finally stood up to his mom.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Like the only tension is with Steve's character. All the other characters are golden with everyone. I like that there's still something because I think it's like necessary to have inner conflict.
Yeah, but it's just like the most fun part of the gang is Dustin and Steve together.
But Steve is still funny. Like his whole chocolate bar metaphor. And there's still like little bits in there that like everybody makes fun of him for, but it's funny.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
Okay. So the question I have is,
it's been more serious.
Who do you think Nancy ends up with? Because I like the whole like Nancy or Jonathan and Steve like kind of vying for like fighting over Nancy. It's a little like corny in some parts, but overall I like this dynamic.
I think she'll end up with Jonathan just because they aren't doing enough between Nancy and Steve.
Yeah. So I agree. I think that she's going to end up with Jonathan.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Steve's gonna die.
No.
So basically, Steve and Will, the two people who can't be with the people that they love, they're gonna kill off.
But usually
conveniently.
love triangle characters have plot armor. So
Yeah.
anyway, now that we're talking about pet peeves,
Okay.
I think the dialogue is suffering in this season. I have been really enjoying the plot, but I think the dialogue in some of the scenes has been really overly dramatic. The characters keep facing the camera and saying a line really dramatically. Like, Will's done it at least 4 times.
But
Max did it twice. And I was like, why is Max being dramatic like this? This is so not her.
Huh.
And then I guess I'm used to Will being dramatic.
Yeah, I'm like,
but not
Will
Max.
always do that?
And then it feels kind of Marvel-y, like a Marvel movie.
Well, overall, even with Will getting his powers and all this stuff, and the whole like 11
Marvel-y.
action scene with the the billboard and
and I'm not liking that, because I think what I love so much about particularly season 1 is everything just feels kind of real, like the natural conversation. It feels like characters are doing and saying things that they would normally say in that environment. This season it feels like we have to go upside down, and they're like almost looking into camera and they flipped, and it's like, why are we being so dramatic? Like, just be in the scene and like act normally. Like, don't act like you're in a movie. Act like you're actually there in the moment. I don't know. So I'm getting really irritated by some of those moments.
Yeah, I've heard that from some other people, but I didn't necessarily feel like it was that bad.
Episode 1 I thought was fine.
Okay.
And I think Holly's acting is good.
Yeah, she's been good, I think.
For a child actress, she's pretty good. But in the later episodes, it keeps happening.
I think it might be because this is the final season.
Yeah.
And
they're so aware of it.
Yeah, and even with like how everyone's becoming like superheroes, like I think like, Vecna is like being built up to be like insanely powerful, which is good, I think. But because of that, they're escalating everything towards this like big massive battle, which is essentially what happens at the end of episode 4, right?
Yeah.
Like apparently that was like the most expensive thing from maybe the whole season, but at least from the first volume. Yeah.
The dialogue keeps nodding to the audience. Like, it's almost like a fourth wall break. Because I'll give you a very specific example. When Max is explaining the whole Kate Bush thing to Holly, Holly is like, who's Kate Bush? Is she a friend of yours? And then Max does this little smirk. And she's like, you could say that. And it's like, okay, clearly she was talking to the audience in that moment. Because she's like, you guys know.
Yeah.
Holly doesn't know, but you guys do. And I hate it when shows do that. I hate it when movies do that. Marvel does it all the time.
I mean, it is
so annoying.
It is the final season, right? Don't you want to include the No? You don't want to give the fans
I want to
their
be
fan
grounded
service?
in the world. I want to be grounded in the moment.
It's just so funny because you have been like following and such a big fan throughout all of this.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm just kind of like a bandwagon. Like, this is all new to me.
Yeah.
So I would think, if anything, you would be the one appreciating all those kinds of nods.
No, I don't like it when shows and movies do that. Like, it's so... It takes you out of the moment immediately.
Yeah.
It just pulls you out of it. And it's like, you're a fan of the show, aren't you? Because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that.
Yeah, I guess for me, the other kind of one moment that threw me out of it a little bit was when Will is clearly like being able to like see and tap into like what all the Demogorgons are seeing and all that. I just kept thinking, like, can't like Vecna reverse spy on him? Because that was clearly established in like season 2, right? So with how much he's accessing and seeing all that, like, wouldn't that instantly give like Vecna like, ability to see like where Will is?
I think
what's
Vecna
going on?
can. It's just that Will's not his target.
So he's just, but once he's accessing the
Hive
mind, doesn't the hive mind know that someone's entered into like another consciousness? I don't know. So
it's a good question.
So that I just kept thinking about that every time Will was doing that to spy and help themselves without any kind of like worry about like, oh, is that going to give Vecna access to, or the Demogorgons to give access to where he's at and where everyone's at, you know? Yeah, other than that, I think largely I feel like this is all kind of set up. I like where we left volume 1 off. I think episode 4 did a lot to kind of bring us to a point of like a satisfying conclusion to volume 1.
Yeah, I
with,
agree.
you know, answering questions but raising a lot of others. One of which is like the wall. Like,
Yeah.
so there's this massive wall. It's the center of it is a circle that's surrounding like the upside
Hawkins
down.
lab.
Yeah, Hawkins, but the Hawkins lab is at the center. So do you have any theories as to like who created the wall, how it got there, why it's there?
So I thought that was where Vecna was. He was like
Inside
hiding
the
inside
walls of the
with
wall?
all the kids.
Okay.
And he like had
But why is it
his base basically.
But why is it like a big circle that's enclosing
Because he's
Hawkins?
trying to keep the military out. That was my theory, is that Vecna created it to keep the military out.
Because it could just be like a castle, you know, with impenetrable walls.
The epicenter is Hawkins' lab.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to try to get to Hawkins' lab on the normal world and then try to go through a gate inside of Hawkins' lab so that they can get inside of the wall.
You think they're on the outside of the wall?
Yeah. Because they say they want to go
Oh.
around it. And then Dustin figures out that they can't go around it because it's a big circle.
I totally thought it was the opposite. I thought they were
No.
inside the
No.
wall
It's
and
just
they're
a-
enclosed and
The
they can't
wall
get
is just one
protecting-
section of Hawkins, and in the middle is Hawkins' lab.
Okay, so that could make sense. So he's kind of like using Hawkins' lab as like the base or something.
And I kind of thought that Vecna's dream world was what was inside of there, and Max was trapped in there.
Okay.
But now I'm thinking, no, it's probably just where Vecna's hiding all the kids in the, you know, with the things in their mouths and stuff.
Okay.
That's probably what
Interesting.
it is. I don't know. I think Vecna made it though, regardless.
Okay. All right. I think that could make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the fact that the military can't even seem to get in there makes me think it has to be Vecna's creation.
Well, one thought I had was like, did Papa create it before he died somehow, you know, and created this wall to like seal in everything that he did,
No.
and everyone's stuck inside, or I don't know.
That'd be wild. That would be wild.
Yeah.
I do think though, I want to know more about the connection between the Mind Flayer and Vecna, because the Mind Flayer's goal in seasons 2 and 3 are a little confusing when compared to 4 and 5.
Yeah. So I
want them to tie that in.
So I think from between the play and what we've seen in the show, it seems like when Henry goes into the Upside Down, he comes across this entity that's formless.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of like evil presence, I guess, of fear. Like it's the epitome of fear itself, right? And then he gets infected by it and controlled by it, but also embodies it in the shape of like a spider, which is like what, you know, I guess is kind of like his animal, right? That he's like connects with. But I think the play makes it clear, like Henry is a victim of the Mind Flayer, and the Mind Flayer has just like this insatiable desire to conquer, control, you know, put everyone under the control of fear, and is using Henry to do that.
Yeah.
And wants to essentially take over the world.
And it's interesting because I think when I finished season 4, I was under the impression that Vecna was controlling the Mind Flayer, not vice versa.
Yeah.
So now
and this is
it's
why
reshaped the way I look at the first 4 seasons.
Yes. And this is why like the play is so critical, and the question of how canon is it really is so critical.
Yeah. And I think it is curious how the Mind Flayer keeps changing their strategy each time. Like, it's so different season to season.
Yeah.
Which is very Monster of the Week, but there has to be a reason for it. Like, why is he using different strategies? And then in season 4, he primarily just uses Vecna. So they teamed up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really hope that they answer those questions in the next volume.
All right. Well, we shall see what Volume 2 has to offer. Until then,
I'm so excited.
Let us know, I guess, what you thought of Volume 1 and
Yep.
what theories you have, considering all of these questions that Volume 1 brought up.
And you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Letterboxd, or Apple Podcasts.
And join us next time as we continue our quest for the 5th star.